I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Eligwe, Zemos in Zendidendo. Heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes. Not behind you, you will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
No way. When the time comes, it's okay. What stupid country is this? So when you see you try somebody's secret, when you like, you try secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret. When you like, you try in private. They are killing my people. They are killing my people. They are killing IPOBs. They are killing my people. After killing my people, you tell me all the time in secret. The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret prayer. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun. Thank you for joining in from wherever you're watching from. I appreciate you. Today is the first day of a new week. I want to thank you all for joining. This is Biafra Global Network, and my name is Kelechi Ambrose. And on this platform of truth, of sanity, and of consistency, I say welcome. And I want to tell you, please, wherever you are watching from, share this on all your social media platforms. Let people join in and let people be part of this, and then we can move the gospel to the place that we all are yearning for. That's the place of freedom, the place of our collective, reach and all of that. So I want to welcome you all for joining, and I want to thank you for joining in. Sorry, please, I'm just getting myself, trying to get some stuff that I'm supposed to get. So please, I want you to share on all your social media platforms and wherever you're watching from, please share now, because there's so many information that you'll be having from this broadcast today. I'm bringing lots of things to you today so that you can actually know and understand where we are, what we are doing, what is happening, who is misleading who, and what is happening in the whole system. It is very, very important for us to understand that Biafra movement and Biafra freedom is our collective responsibility. And if you don't understand it that way, you will not know what it means to actually work and do the work of your father who has called you. Thank you so much, Jerry Kenechuku. Thank you, Maziklich, they will all hail Biafra. Thank you so much, my brother. Good to have you here. And I appreciate you for being the first person to send a message. Since we started speaking the truth, we have had a reduction and we have had fewer messages coming, unless when they want to come and start attacking, they will now come in. I'm expecting those who are going to come to attack today to come in. Anyways, I won't waste much time today because I'm going to be opening up so many things. Today's broadcast is loaded. The reason why we are doing what we're doing, and the reason why the broadcast these days have become patterned to reconfiguring the minds of our people so that they can see and read the times, is because if we are going to have our freedom and achieve our freedom, there is a path that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has told us that we would achieve that freedom. And that path is the path of truth. And except you toe that line, you will not get it right. And except you tell yourself the truth. See, I want you to tell yourself the truth. The truth here is this. If you can't tell yourself the truth right now at the age you are, after going all through you have gone through, after those people who have died, after losing so many millions of people in Biafra land, after all the bombardment by the Nigeria government, after all the evils that are happening in our lands, and we cannot tell ourselves the truth, then we are done for. In fact, it is better for a stone to be tied, at our backs and thrown into the sea, and we drown and die. Because if you begin to tell yourself lies at this stage, you still keep telling yourself lies, I assure you that you and I are done for. That means we are most miserable and we are not worthy to be alive in this generation. And that is why when it comes to the things that concerns us as a people and as Biafrans, we must stand for the truth at all times. Now, I have told you several times here, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has mentioned it several times and taught us rightly and very well that we must be consistent, that we must be truthful, and that we must uphold the doctrines of the religious program of Biafra. Now, I call it the doctrines of the religious program of Biafra because when you look at religion, it has to do with the people and how they reason and how they operate and how they worship. And in the context of Biafra, the religion of Biafra and the doctrine of Biafra is tilted towards Elohim. And the truth about Elohim is that Elohim is a jealous God, and at the same time, he does not condone or accept the first law is that there shall be no other God before him. When you begin to place other gods before him, it simply means that you are now beginning to deviate from the truth. Anything that makes you keep yourself away from telling the truth is another way of designing and worshiping another God. And you must understand this in that context. Now, I've come here today to give you the basic information that you need. Now, I want to first inform you as Biafrans to let you know, if you have forgotten, that no one man, I repeat it, no one man has the burden of Biafra upon them. No one man has the right to run and pursue Biafra. No one person has the right to control the lives of over 70 million people. No one person can put on themselves that reserved right, or that a lone right to determine what happens to 70 million people. You out there have a right to speak, to pursue, to ask, to demand, and to work for Biafra. That was why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it, which is still the fact in his heart, that any one of you who know what to do to bring Biafra, you must do that. But here also, if you observe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu critically, you will discover that along the line of going for Biafra, there are some things he needs to expose. And for you to achieve Biafra, you must expose lies. Because the only way you can expose lies is to speak the truth. When you speak the truth, naturally you open up the fact of lies. And automatically you are already moving forward. And that is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, nobody can destroy the concept of Biafra. Now, let me tell you something about humans, or natural beings, and human beings, We only see, even animals, those who, the animals, of course, they work with instincts. We only are moved and act by what we see, what we sense, and the things that happen around us. We cannot tell what is in the heart of man. That is why God told Samuel, when Samuel was moved by his heart, by what he saw, the children of Jesse, thinking that those able-bodied men were the ones that were going to lead Israel. God told him, man looks on the outward appearance, but I look in the heart, which means that the only way we can understand what happens and what people do is by the actions and by their body language and by what they do. We can now tell what they want to achieve and all of that. And so we don't know the heart of man. You don't know my heart. I don't know your heart. But by what I do, by what I say, by the actions I carry out, you'll know. Now, I want to let you know that based on the things that have been happening, we, the Biafra people, have decided, and of course, inclusive of you, we have decided, according to what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said, to do what we have to do by ourselves. And that is why what you see me do today is because I have decided to do what I have to do because of what we have to do for our collective freedom. And the interest that we all have is our collective interest. It is not an individual interest. So what I am doing here right now, I am acting on the authority which the spirit of Biafra confers on me, which it gave to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to speak out, saying that we all have right to do what we have to do for Biafra. And based on these facts, some of us who are in the system have come together to see that we actually place and position the truth as the platform for us to run. Recently, we have come to discover that the system has been corrupted. The system has been running on lies, and I'm going to prove them to you today. I'm going to prove them to you today, because as much as we try to make you understand what we're trying to do, we're still going to open up the lies to you. There are so many evidences I'm going to bring. I've not brought, there's so many evidences I'm going to bring today to you to open up some stuff to you so that you can understand these things. Now, the only way you know the mind of men, or the right, the motive of people, is by what they do and what they say. And whenever I say something and I go against it, just know that I've deviated. Whenever I come to you, I give you a wrong impression about myself. For instance, if I come to tell you I am a doctor, just like Ngozi Orabueze says she's a doctor, and when you go to the records, you discover she's just a nurse. Now, these are lies, and that alone discredits me. I don't have the local standing to come to you to tell you anything about truth. Because if I can prove to you a wrong perspective of who I'm giving you a wrong impression about me,
then I've told you lie. If I come to tell you I'm honorable, just like Azuka will come and tell you that she's honorable, whereas she has not worked in the house in Nigeria as a lawmaker or something. She has not worked in the National Assembly, where they are called honorables, you know, those type titles. I'm not saying anybody cannot call themselves honorables, but don't give us an impression that you earned it by professionalism. And so when you give me an impression that you are a particular thing, which you are not, then you are actually telling me that you are a liar. And that automatically makes me not qualified to talk to you about truth. That is why I am telling you here right now that whatever we do, we see and look at the actions of men and the words of men and their body language, and of course, everything that has to do with them to tell you what they actually are and how they are and who they are. It is only God now that looks in the heart. And one interesting thing about it is that God who looks in the heart makes people walk according to a pattern to reveal what is in their hearts. So when a man is evil, naturally God has programmed the mind to in a way that man being evil can, whether directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, operate and display that evil tendency at a point in time without them sometimes knowing it, or sometimes they knowing it, especially when they have come to the point of reprobacy, where their hearts have become evil and where their hearts have become corrupted. So everything you see somebody display at a particular time is a representation of a spiritual program or a design of what is in their hearts. And so when I tell you that I'm a true Biafran and I want to fight for Biafra, I want to do anything for Biafra, you must look at my actions, my behavior, the way I operate, the things I say. Am I consistent at all times? If I am consistent by all times, then you can approve the fact that I can also stand for, at any point, to defend the truth. You must know that. Look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for instance, as a cynosure of truth, which Elohim has given to us. And when you look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, tell yourself, ask yourself if everything you are doing is in accordance with what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents. Because until now, we can tell that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is standing on the truth. If he's not standing on the truth, he would have been released from the DSS custody. He would have been released. Now, based on this fact, now I was giving you an analysis last time, and I want to reiterate it before I begin to give you evidences and go deeper to the facts of the lies, and at the same time revealing to you what we are doing, because I'm going to, from this analysis right now and from what I want to say now, I'm going to begin to reveal to you what we want to do. We have now set up a platter of a template that is so transparent that every Biafran will know what is happening about their movement for their freedom. You can't tell me that you are fighting for freedom for me, and you cannot give me an information about the kind of freedom you are fighting for me, and I cannot know what you are doing. To talk about, just for instance, Uwazuruke came all out in 1999 and began the issue of Biafra freedom. When he came out, he was expressing by his own ways. And then before you know it, people, of course, you know, we have been killed, we have been maimed, we have been cheated and all of that. So our people through the time have been living a life of servitude. And so we needed this opportunity to find ourselves, to find ourselves in the, I will go to the message column later. I just want to get these facts right here now. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to read out and what is there and find out what's on your mind. Now, Uwazuruke came because we have suffered. We have been suffering under Nigeria. We have been having this terrible situation. We've been killed, we've been maimed, terrible things going on. And then Uwazuruke shows up and promises us that we are going to freedom, that we want to get our freedom and nation. After we have imagined how Michael Opara did the things he did, Ojukwu did the things he did, and all of that, and we were just imagined that, wow, freedom would be good for us. So many of us joined, and we are following him and hailing him and supporting him and everything. Of course, when internet just began, then of course phone just began, but the movement was not that widespread. But at a point, towards the late 2000, it began to gain popularity and all of that, and suddenly the enemies, Britain, using Fulani, know how we are. They know naturally we are Republicans. They know that we are not people who worship kings. It is when you read history, you will see it. You'll see that the Hausa tribe, they worship their kings, like a worship. The Yoruba tribe, but for Igbos, they don't have kings. They work together and they make their agreements. They come to a unanimous decision when they want to carry out some stuff. They recognize hierarchy and leadership by hierarchy, and Igbos recognize that. We recognize elders, we recognize elders. But when you fall short of being an elder, Igbos will tell you to your face. They knew all of this, and that is why they designed the concept of warrant chiefs. And these warrant chiefs became the corruption that began, because for them to actually penetrate us, they needed to corrupt our culture. They needed to corrupt our beginning. They needed to corrupt our position, our traditions. So what Britain did was this. They decided to bring about warrant chiefs, people who are going to have absolute power and control over Biafrans, so that they will begin to impose taxes and other things that the British needed to do as much as to exert control over the people. And so along the line now, our people were being, that was what led to the Aba women riot. When the taxes were going so high, the women decided to riot. The women, because we naturally don't believe in all this. We agree together, we work together, we do our things together. We don't believe in worshiping somebody somewhere who comes and says, I am in control, and then begins to give you orders. We don't do that in Igbo land. We believe in due diligence. We believe in procedure. Everybody talking and discussing, airing your views, and then we agreeing, and then the elders will now say, okay, now we have all agreed, and then the elders will now say, okay, now it has to be so. That is how we were, and all of that, and that is how we operated. And so based on that, we were actually having success in our nation until Britain came. Now, when Britain came, Britain knew that for them to penetrate, they needed to alter that situation, because the unity of Biafrans was in that's their democratic approach, and that's their republican nature. And they knew that the successes of Biafrans was in that. So they needed to corrupt that. So they brought in the idea of warrant chiefs and all of that. And those people went around, humiliating and, killing our people and getting slaves and doing lots of atrocities for the British system and the colonial program then, and all of that. And of course, we all read about how it began to metamorphose into what we have right now. And along the line also, when the British now gave power to the Fulanis in 1960 to control us, what they did also, they advised the Fulanis to begin to erect social organizations like Ohaneze, Pandef, and all of that, so that those people also will begin to they will also begin to exude some kind of power that is not in their hands, but given to them by Fulanis through the British, given to them by the British constructs through the Fulanis. And those people will begin to impose their evil will on the people, the will of the Fulanis and the British. So now we begin to see that this began to become a problem to us. And along the line also, the British understood that we are not used to this system of having somebody imposed on us. So when Owazuruke came all out and began to pursue the cause of Biafra, what they did was this: they attacked him. They came for him, they took him, they locked him up. And of course, our people, we always want to worship people. So our people were asking for his release and all of that. And then they went behind and talked to the people who were with him and bought them over with money, just like they did in those days with the warrant chiefs and all of that. Buy them with money, and then they go now face Owazuruke, and they brought him down. They made him now to lose his relevance, and then he compromised, and then he sold the struggle. And now that's cost because now we are now beginning to, they have put our minds and programmed our minds to believe in somebody leading us. As soon as Owazuruke went down, we all went back to our shell. We were now saying, oh my God, and all of that. And then we were now begin to wonder, how do we go? Because anytime somebody is brought down, because we have been altered and we have been programmed to worship people. When somebody goes down or somebody is taken away from us, we now go back to our shell. We begin to say, how do we go? We now get confused. We now feel that we don't have a bearing. We don't have a focus. We don't have a target. We don't have a roadmap. We don't have anything, because we always look at somebody. We look onto somebody to give us direction and give us the roadmap and to lead us. Once that person is not there, we find ourselves confused. And that was what went wrong with our people as soon as Owazuruke was taken off. And then suddenly we had this gap. And then Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, having the spirit of Biafra and the whole Elohim giving him direction on how to lead the people, came. And what he started to do was to teach us. Now, the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was teaching us was to put the spirit of Biafra upon us, so that everybody will recognize the truth, and then you will not look on him alone. Even if he is the leader, you will not look on him alone, but you will be looking at yourself as capable of moving the struggle and fighting for your freedom. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came all these years and began to teach us. And when he began to teach us, he was imputing on us faith cometh by hearing, and the hearing the word of God. So he was putting the word of truth into us. And we, some of us who understand what truth means and the implication of truth, began to get these words and began to revive our spirits and began to go through history to get more information. And we kept listening to him, and our faith were coming up. And Elohim was using him to strengthen some of us, like you and I, those of you who are standing on the path of truth right now. Elohim was using Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to tell us now that the issue of Biafra and freedom and where God wants to take us is not for one person to be worshipped, because the only person who is in charge of the freedom is God himself, Elohim. He is the one we should worship. So the names we can call him: glorious God, awesome, wonderful, beautiful beyond description, a mighty one, sovereign king, El Shaddai, El Gibor, El Elyon, El Shaddai, and all of these names were supposed to be to God and to God alone. But I'll tell you how we began to deviate again. We now began to call names. We began to do lots of things. I'm going somehow, I want you to listen to me with all your heart so that you get these facts right. We began to go wrong. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu began to caution us. Don't give me names. Don't give me titles. I'm not the one in charge. Elohim is in charge. And I am teaching you what he is telling me to tell you. And what I'm teaching you is to put the spirit of Biafra in you, because out of you I'm going to bring out 100 men who are going to lead the people, just like Moses was told to anoint 70 men in the wilderness that will minister to the people, so that along the line the people will understand that it is not all about Moses, but it is about the Spirit of God. And even when God took Moses away, God took him away and made sure they didn't see where he was buried, because God knew that they were going to worship him, worship Moses' body, and God knew that they were going to worship his tomb or something, or raise a memorial there and begin to do idolatrous, activities and all of that. God knew all of this. So God was trying to make the people get away from the concept of self-worship and self-destruction. So God now began to teach the people to understand this. And that was why the people spent so many years in the wilderness, because they were murmuring, they were grumbling, they were walking against Moses, and they were walking against themselves. They were not looking up to Elohim. And of course, Moses himself was taken away, because God wanted to prove to them it's not about Moses, because even if Moses messes up, I'll take him away. And when I take him away, I'll still lead you people to the promise. But you must make sure you don't give praise to men for what I have ordained to be done. That was what God was saying. So now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came in, and the people began to idolize him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is our leader, yes, but we went wrong by idolizing him. So God now decided to take him away for a while. God is still going to bring him to the path and bring him to lead us into Biafra, yes. But God took him away because God wanted to strengthen our minds to understand that the spirit of Biafra he has spoken through Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into us is what would lead us to freedom, which means that all of us must be focused. As much as we revere Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as our leader, he is not the central figure. The central figure is God himself, who is designing the program and on whose pinions we are going to run into our freedom. So God was leading us into this concept of direction and opening our eyes. Now, just follow me gradually, because I'm leading you to the path of what we are doing right now. And I'm going to expose to you, I'm going to give you some evidences of the evils going around. I'm going to give you some evidences of what is happening right now in Biafra movement. I'm going to give you evidence. Those of you who have asked me of picture, you said Simon is part of think tank. What's the evidence? I'm going to give you an evidence today. I'm going to give you evidences of the things that he has said that have been contradicted. I'm going to give you evidences of the fact that lies have been told and we are still worshiping men. I'm going to give you evidences that we are deviating from God and thinking that it is man that will give us this thing. I'm going to give you evidences to let you understand that it is all Elohim calling you to understand that you should seek and move and do what you have to do in truth. If you are standing for truth, you are 100% eligible to move and to fight for freedom for God's people. If you believe in truth, you are 100% qualified to lead, to be part of those who will join hands to move to get freedom. That is what God is saying. Now let me get on with this. Now along the line, God took Mazi Nnamdi Kanu away. Sorry, I am somehow sweating. God took Mazi Nnamdi Kanu away God took him away not to destroy him. God took him away not because DOS and their co were able to get him and sell him. God would have been able to avert that. God would have been able to keep him away from that. God took him away not because God thought that he's going away would destroy the movement. He said it himself, that even if you take me away, even if you kill me, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it, if you kill me, Biafra will come faster. So, and of course, God took him away because God wanted us to understand that it is him, Elohim, that is moving this movement or taking us into our freedom. So we must recognize that every one of us is part of this movement as much as God has given us Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to lead us. Now, suddenly, of course, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, when he was extraordinarily renditioned, and of course, when he came back, when they brought him into the zoo 8 days after torturing gruesome, brutal treatment, of which the British government, the system, everybody, the Ohaneses, everybody were, were part of getting him into that situation, which God permitted anyways, because God permitted it. If God wanted it to stop, God would have stopped it. They after all that evil done to him, God allowed them to bring him without killing him into the zoo. And now he's in the dungeon of the DSS. And then when he made a pronouncement that Simon should go and broadcast on Radio Biafra, we now miscalculated and thought that he has anointed somebody else. And of course, because our mindset were so glorifying about people, our mindset are always glorifying people. Our mindset have been programmed by the British during that colonial era when they brought the warrant chiefs and all of that. And we started idolizing men. And it also even went into our music. You see people like Oriental Brothers, what's the name of this man? This man, they, and lots of them like that. They will sing, they will make music, and all they do is give me money and I praise you. We got into this praising of men, and it was leading us into idolatry. And God was dealing with us with that, and that is why our freedom have been delayed. Because us in idolatry, where we glorify people rather than glorifying God, because God puts people before us. When people get small money, they want you to glorify them. They pay you to sing their praises. They begin to feel, they begin to feel, irate, in reggae and Jamaica, you hear feel irate, they begin to feel high, they call it irate, they begin to feel like they have arrived, and they pay people to pay them. And that is why most of our people have gone into corruption, into stealing, into 419 plus, and all of that, Yahoo plus, and all of that ritual program, because everybody wants to be sung. Everybody wants to have them to become a song. We have seen it recently in our freedom. I'm going to talk about that too as we go on. We have seen it in this autopilot mood where people pay money, people like Azuka and co pay money to get them praised, to get them to get their names praised, to find themselves being praised. God is a jealous God. God does not condone rubbish. And if you allow, even if God gives you a promise to bless you, and you don't position yourself to be blessed, God would allow you to die without that blessing, and that blessing will still remain. Somebody else from your lions will come and fulfill it. God was going to bring about the building of the temple, but when David's hands were soiled with blood, God said, no, it's not going to be you. I already have a plan for a temple to be built, but it's not going to be through you, David, even if you are my man. Even if you're a man after my heart, it's not going to be through you. It's going to be through your son, who has not been, his hands have not been stained with blood. So God would always program these things and all of that. I heard somebody, I saw a publication. Somebody was posting recently about Pastor Emeka. He said, Pastor Emeka, you are the one who said, you told us that God revealed to you that Simon was going to be, is the Joshua of our time, blah, 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 blah. And I just smiled. You see, people don't understand spiritual things. For the fact that God speaks to me and tells me that he's going to do something through me, and God tells me that he's going to bless me, if I don't walk according to the order of God, God takes me away. So God gave a promise to Samuel and tells him to go and ordain Saul, but Saul messed up along the line and God took him away. And God brought another man and said, this is the man after my heart. So God is God. Even if God gives a promise at a particular time and says to somebody, I have ordained this person to do this work, and the person does not walk according to the precepts and the design of God, God takes him away. That does not mean that what God said initially was not true. See, check it out in the scripture. When Saul was called, God said, I have seen a man you are going to ordain, Samuel. This man is, wow, wonderful. He's going to lead my people. That's the first king. He's one I've chosen. Now Samuel went to ordain him. That doesn't make Samuel a false prophet. Samuel ordained him according to the word of God, as at that time the word of God came to Samuel. So as at that time, God made the word and said, I too have said that Simon is playing the part. God has already chosen him for this time. You know why? As at that time, we already saw the Spirit working in him, and he was allowing the Spirit go as at that time based on what we had information. But that doesn't mean that when God calls you, you cannot be taken away. You cannot be taken away and the spirit of evil enter you. You saw it in the life of Saul. As soon as the Spirit of God left him, the spirit of evil entered him. The spirit of the devil entered him. He started looking for David to kill. He started doing wrong things. He started consulting mediums, seers and evil people. You remember when he went to an evil woman to invoke the spirit of Samuel when Samuel was late, so that he would hear from Samuel. He was getting frustrated. He started doing wrong things. When the Spirit of God leaves you, you begin to make wrong moves and do wrong things. I would prove it now with what is happening right now. Right now, you can see yesterday, you see the postings, and I'll come to all of that today because I'm going to prove all of that. Because we're not here to just praise ourselves or to talk about ourselves. We're come here to lift the name of the Most High God. He is the one in charge of Biafra movement. Nobody is indispensable. Nobody, including me. If I mess up today, God is going to cut me off, and I'll be off. And the movement will go on, and the freedom will come. When they thought that Moses was going to be the one to lead them, in fact, they thought that without Moses, they were going nowhere. At the time when God called Moses up to Sinai, or Horeb, the mount, to give him the word, to give him the promise, to give him the law, or the law, of course, the law that would translate to promise, which became the promise in Christ. When they left, they felt empty. And they felt that something must represent them and something must present itself as God. So when they were designing that golden calf, they were actually telling God that Moses was actually the God that they were worshiping. But now Moses had been taken away, so they needed to mold something that would look like a God to them, because they saw miracles from Moses. They saw what he did in Egypt, the 10 plagues and all of that. They saw the miracles. And so they felt that these miracles were evidence that Moses should be worshipped. And when God took him up to Horeb to give him on Sinai, to give him the law, they thought that there was a vacuum. So they decided to design an image, something that looks like something that is worship, something from gold, molding from gold. And since gold is value, it's a value, gold is value and all of that, the value of gold. They felt that gold can represent the glory, that kind of glory they saw in Moses. And so that was when God told Moses in the wilderness. God told Moses, you know what God told Moses? He said, I'm going to go kill these people. And God said, and Moses said, no. For the first time, Moses was advising God. Imagine Moses advising God, teaching God. Sometimes hot-tempered people are the ones who quickly want to advise. Moses is a hot-tempered person by temperament, we know in scripture. And you saw that it was the hot-tempered nature that quick to anger that made him lose the promise. Now, he was the one advising God not to kill these people. That this, if you wipe these people away, then what? They will laugh at us. And he was saying the truth. And of course, God was telling him, but through you, I'm going to raise a nation. He said, no, if they hear that these people are dead, they'll say that God couldn't take them to the promise. And he killed them all. And so, and when Moses came down, he himself now destroyed the ark, the tablets that was given to him. Because he was so angry too. He saw what God saw and he reacted, and he killed some people. Now, I'm just giving you some perspective to that. Now, as soon as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu began to be glorified, God saw the people going in the direction of idolatry, and God takes him and keeps him somewhere. And God expects us now to begin to look. But because we are always looking for an image to worship, we're always looking for an object to worship. As soon as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said Simon should broadcast on Radio Biafra, because we were empty, just like the children of Israel in the wilderness, they were empty. Moses is gone. What do? We now began to look towards one direction. Oh, Simon, Mazi Nnamdi, oh, he said we should listen to him. He's bringing a new dimension. Oh, yeah. We started lifting him. We started praising him. We started pushing him. Now, remember, almost every broadcast, somebody has a name to call him. And the problem is that we actually were given glory to corrupt someone who is not mature enough for a position he was already being pushed into. If we had seen God as the one who is projecting and piloting this thing, and we have accepted Simon to say that, Simon, yes, we want you to control this, but this is how we're going to run it so that we can have an effective program, and you are not going to have an absolute power that will corrupt you, then we would have been able to guide him to do the right thing. And so, but because he's a boy, he actually didn't understand what it means to be looked up to. And because he didn't have that spirit from God that would guide him to understand that the praises coming from people is dangerous, and the praises should not be the wings you should ride on to move with the people. You have to be careful. And so he got so glorified in these praises, and then he got corrupted, and then he started doing the wrong things, and then he started taking absolute power upon himself. And right now, of course, you heard him now say, as at yesterday or today, that he's the interim leader. Now, this is the same thing he talked about the Dios. Now, I'll come to that place later. I just want to give you perspective. Now, we glorified men, and God took Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and said, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, stay here, and I'm going to get these people to understand. I want these people to understand. And when Simon now came in, and Simon started doing what he's doing and got to this point now, God is now telling us that we have missed it again. We will not get it right unless we begin to know that he, Elohim, is the one in charge. Don't think that this, somebody was asking me, so who do we look up to now? Now you people want to do this. For God's sake, I said, I was just wondering, what are we doing? In the first place, what we are doing is to reveal the truth, is to set the record straight, and is to help some few people not to glorify themselves in place of God. Because we know God is, if God is be for us, who can be against us? If you understand the principles of God, as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said consistently, talking about Elohim, anytime he begins his broadcast, he talks about Elohim. He said Biafra is our religion, and he talks about Biafra being a product of Elohim to restore the kingdom of Elohim on this earth. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was actually making us understand that the program is not about him, about anybody, but it is about Elohim who gives us the mandate. So, but we were getting it wrong. And so when Simon came, we now went wrong. And now people are thinking that without Simon, they can't get their freedom. Without anybody, you will get your freedom. Because it is Elohim that is designing this. And so we went very, very wrong. But I want to tell you guys this day. We have set a structure right now. Before I go into the exposition, revealing some stuff and giving you some stuff here to see some evidences, I want to tell you something. As at now, there's people, stakeholders in different parts of the nation who have been part of working with Simon and seeing his wrongs and all that he's doing wrong. And also seeing, and those people too who have been watching when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, you know, and all of that, who have been watching, who have not been part of the play right now, have come to understand. We have consulted, we have gone around, and we have come to say now we want to run a template that will be all-inclusive, where every Biafran can have a right to air their views and say what they want, and to have the right to see what is happening. Because our intention is, one, to recognize that only Chukwu Okike, Elohim, is the one we can worship and praise in this matter. Two, to make sure that everybody has a voice. Everyone has a voice, and everyone's voice counts. So what we have done right now is to strategically position committees and structures that will entail committees for every particular department necessary for the restoration of Biafra. Now, in these committees, you can function if you have what it takes. It is not for me alone. It is not for anybody alone. It is not for any other person. You know, it is not for any other person. Now, Victoria, I'm telling you the plan now. It is for you. If you, Victoria, you have what it takes, come into the program. We have set a structure. If you want to be part of it, call me. You'll be part of it. We have set a structure now on ground that will entail that you, your mind, what you have in mind to make sure that we bring our freedom will come. We have set the structure. We have different departments right now, very strategic departments, and nobody leads any of the departments. Each department has a coordinator who functions along the line of everyone's level, which means that he only coordinates, but everybody makes the decision. When everybody have made a decision, he now collates the decision with his secretary, the secretary of that committee, and they put it together and they present it to Biafrans. And we tell Biafrans, this is what we want to do. By the agreement, this committee agrees that this is what we can do to help us. And then Biafrans will look at it, because by that time, if it is something that is necessary to come and air out there, which that will not reveal our secrets to the zoo and to British government, we'll come and tell you, this is what we have to do. This is what we want to do. And we'll give you the template of what we want to do and the procedure of what we want to do. And then we can now observe you also. You can say, oh, we can do it this way. their way, you know, it's their way. Let them go on with the issue of criminality. That's their business. They look like a criminal. If you call me a criminal and you cannot prove it, then you are the criminal. So now we have set this standard and this strategy. So, and people like I say Kelechi, and people like Victoria, if you have what it takes, Biafra is not on anybody's shoulder. If you have what it takes, call me later and tell me where you can function. I'll tell you the committees that are available right now, which we are structuring. People all over the nations of the world are being positioned rightly. People that you have not even heard their names, but formidable people. People who have the burden for Biafra. The same way Moses raised 70 men to lead committees and all of that, and then had on that level again, they had some people who are leading like that and all of that. And in this template we have, nobody is projected as a leader. Nobody is going to say that this is what I want us to do and you must do it. No. We have passed that level. God is telling us that it is He alone that is the controller. All we can do is to reason together. And our reasoning together must be under the auspices of the anointing of God. That is why He said in Isaiah chapter 1 verse 48, come now and let us reason together. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. We brainstorm. We have the inspiration from the spirit of Biafra. We brainstorm. We come up with a common resolution and we execute it. That is how we're going to run now. Finance, we come up with it. Now, let me tell you, in the finance program that we have right now, you as a Biafran can know how much is in the account. Wherever you just need to go and just log in and you get it. You as a Biafran can know the total amount you pay every day. So anytime you go there and look at it and see that the amount you paid was not real, it's not real what is there, it's not what is there, you can raise alarm to call everybody to order and to now checkmate. And now we now link it to who would have taken what you have. So, and we have a system in the financial process that every office has a part to play in that financial procedure or in the financial template, where the person who is a signatory or the people who are signatories are not those who are disbursing the funds. The people who are disbursing the funds are not those people in charge of procurement. Those in charge of procurement are not those in charge of welfare. Those in charge of welfare are not those in charge of receipts, taking of receipts and records. Those in charge of taking receipts and records are not those who are going to investigate if this is a bottom ground. Those who are the ones checking the things bottom ground are not those who in the secretariat and all of that. So we have a very smooth and awesome system. This is where we test the intelligence of Biafra. Anybody whatever has been done initially was not because people didn't know what to do right, because most of them they are living abroad, they know what is to do right, but because they have this mindset of corruption, they will never. It's just like Nigeria. The reason why you have Nigeria like this is not because they don't know what to do right and set the standard and the structure, but because they had to make the structure opaque. That means make it blurred so that it looks like confusing, and so that corruption can be promoted and corruption can thrive. Anywhere you see that people know what to do and they are pretending they don't know what to do, then it means that somebody has an ulterior motive. And that is what has been happening. I must tell you the truth, Biafrans. This record is saved. I'm saying this now, and it's going to be saved for generations to come. And people are going to hear my voice and know that, and they'll say, look back, they'll say, wow, this man said the truth. The reason why we have what we have right now, and people, rather than when we ask for accountability, and all they do is to try to blackmail people, tell them how they give them money, tell them how they came to beg the money, tell them how they bought laptop, tell them how they bought bus, and tell them all this is because they don't want to go to face the fact of accountability. And they need this distraction because they know that most of our people are small-minded. And they know that they feel that our people are easily distracted. And based on the fact that our people have been hailing and calling them names and giving them so many and dancing to their music, so they feel that our people would always be misled and deceived. Now we're going there. I'm going to show you lots of evidences today. I've told you today, I'm going to show you lots of evidences. Now, let me tell you, as soon as that happened, we started glorifying people. We now got back to the situation we're in now. And that is why we are in this mess right now. I tell you, Biafrans, I can tell you categorically now, right now, nothing is on ground according to the boastings that we did in the past. I was part of those who was promoting this boasting because I just believed that something would be on ground, because everybody in the media team agreed that let's just allow, maybe Simon has plans, maybe he has plans, maybe he has plans, and all of that. Maybe he has some other people, some group of people. Now I'm going to show you evidences here where he said that there are plans and there are programs. I'm going to show you all of that. Now, I'm not here to castigate him, no, but I have to open your eyes to some things that you have to understand. Because when you understand these things, you would know the truth. If you know the truth, you'll know where to stand. I want you to understand, I keep saying it, please. The biggest mistake you will make is to glorify men or to think that men would always stand for the truth. The only way you're going to know that men are not standing for the truth is to test what they do by the spirit of Biafra through Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Observe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has lived uprightly to the standard of this program. That is why he is where he is. Now, check out what is happening now if it falls in line. Check it out. Now, first, I'm going to play a particular video where I'm going to give you a list of tweets of things that were told that were lies. Now, I'm going to give you some videos, and I want you to listen to them with a clear conscience, not a biased mind. Is everything that is said in this video that I'm going to listen to, are they true? Did they come to pass? Did I see them? You're going to answer that question by yourself, but I'm going to play it one after the other. Now, listen to this first video. You know, this first video. Let me see. There's a okay. Let me play this video to you where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spoke and also Simon spoke. Now you now know the difference. Now listen.
Thank Simon Ekpa for actually bringing it up. I think Simon Ekpa does this very brilliant video analysis, which I think is a new genre, so to speak, in this propagation. I think he's doing a very good job, and may he continue and let the demon not go into him. He should remain focused, applied, and disciplined. You know, our problem is lack of application and discipline. Once you're disciplined and you apply yourself dutifully and diligently, the end result is always assured. It's very
For the second time, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it. You know, he has said it initially in one particular broadcast. Now, this time around, in a particular discussion, he said, let him not allow the devil. And he said he must be applied and disciplined. Now, this is the principle of Biafra. Discipline, applied, and discipline. Now, what it means to be applied is to be truthful. That means you are staying on the precepts of what you are supposed to do. Precepts of what you have to do. What is precept? Precept is the guideline, the disposition, the focus, the template, the target, and the source. He must stay on the source. He must be disciplined. He must be applied. He must be disciplined, because it takes you to be disciplined to apply the concept of truth. If you are not disciplined, you will abuse the opportunity to get and to propagate the truth, because indiscipline is what promotes corruption. Because when you have a corrupt tendency, you begin to get indiscipline, because indiscipline will help you not to do the right thing. Now, he said that. Now listen to this now. Now, for those, before I play the other videos, I want to show some of you, for instance, you know, all this issue began with the issue of ETTG. You know, when he came out and said that ETTG, Eastern Think Tank group, is not recognized. He doesn't know them. He doesn't know us. He doesn't know anything we're doing. He doesn't know, because it's good for us to come with evidence. I'm going to show you an evidence here right now of the fact that he knows us. He has held meetings with us. He has done things with us and all of that. I'm going to show you an evidence. And we have spoken, and he told us also, give us an assignment of the Constitution, the assignment of the Constitution, of course, of writing letters and all of that, of which I've written so many very important letters, not all, some very critical ones, especially when they are critical. I write them. And especially when they are critical. If you observe the language of some letters, you will discover the difference. You know, so I'm going to show you evidences that he has actually been with us on the ETTG platform. When we have our Zoom meetings, we had our Zoom meetings and all of that. These are evidences, so that it will not be that we are coming to tell you lies. We are not against him. We understand. We have been following him. We have been not following him anyways, in the sense of following him. We have been promoting him, pushing him. We came all together to make sure that we get the DOS people to go away, because they are actually not doing the right thing. And we followed him when he stood his ground on the issue of the sit at home and all of that. We started pushing and said, wow, this guy is on the path of truth. If we wanted to do our own thing at that time, we would have gone to do our own thing. Of course, we would just say, to hell with him, who is he? That's how we do. But we know that this program is not about us or anybody, even about him. But it's all about somebody who is positioned at that point in time. Since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said, let us listen to him. And since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says he should broadcast on Radio Biafra, we just felt, okay, good. Since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that means we can read into his mind. He wants this guy to stay there for a while but he has given him a warning. If you allow the devil enter you, then you will be treated. You'll be given the IPOB treatment. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have already given him this, which means that anytime he deviates, what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said we should do to him, if he deviates, we should do the same to anybody. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said if he deviates, we should shoot him. The nearest person should shoot him down. If you don't kill him or gun him down, then you are a coward. That's what he said. That means you are not consistent. You are not standing on the truth. So he says, if I go away, deal with me. And so that's what we do to anybody who goes away. And that is what Simon has done. He has gone away. So we're going to deal with him in that light. And that's what we are doing, and now redesigning and configuring the process and the structure for our freedom, because our freedom is more important than anybody. Our freedom is more important than anybody, just like God is more important than life to us. And if God has instituted this, then God is the awesome one. And then he's the one we're going to worship. Not any man. We know it's not possible. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. We can't worship anybody. If you miss it, we tell you. And if you don't want to adhere, you'll fall out. Naturally, the spirit of Biafra will kick you out. All you'll be doing is you'll be making mistakes, and people will be seeing the mistakes. And then you'll just be going to oblivion. So that's it. So I'm going to show you evidence of two of our Zoom meetings where Simon was there and he was discussing with us and all of that. And ETT, just Eastern Think Tank Group, which he said he doesn't know them, he doesn't know the group, he doesn't know, they don't exist, and all of that. That alone shows you that he is not sincere. That shows you that he has been been saying lots of lies. Because if he can come boldly on screen, talk to 70 million Biafrans and tell them that he doesn't know the ETTG, it simply means that he has lied. And if someone has lied, you have to be courageous enough, just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, you are a coward if you don't shoot me down when I miss it. You are a coward when you cannot tell somebody you have glorified in place of God. If you cannot tell them, that they have lied. If you cannot say lie is lie, call a spade, then you're a coward. Then the truth is not in you and you're empty. Now let me give you a proof. This is one of the proofs here. Look at it now. You'll see Prince there. You'll see Simon there. You'll see Emmanuel Maduabum, who is also one of the person who removed me from the advisory board. And of course, he removed me from the advisory board when I countered the issue of the currency and told them that their faces will not be on the currency. He now removed me. He's the one that you see there, Emmanuel Maduabum. He's the one who did that. And you see Opole, these are people who are in the ETTG. You see Pastor Rose there, and you see me, I'm putting on a nose mask. And behind me is somebody whose video is closed. I'm trying to get the names. There are about 9 of us in this meeting that day, but of course I could only capture this one. I didn't capture others. It seems like the spirit of Biafra wanted me to capture this so that today we can have an evidence of this. This is a meeting of the ETTG, and Simon was there also with us. And these are the people he said. You can see Prince there. You can see Opole. You can ask any of these people. Ask them if this is not ETTG meeting. And they can tell you. Now, this is the meeting, and this is where he's saying that these are the people who are discussing with him that he doesn't know, came to tell Biafrans, tell you people who are glorifying him, who think that you have to glorify him, and even when they lie, you have to just look for a means of covering them, a means of defending them, a means of just talking. And look at it, look at the meeting. We were having a serious meeting here, and Simon is there. Look at him sitting there, and he said he doesn't know any of these people. He said doesn't know us. I mean, Emmanuel left the group. Emmanuel left the ETTG group because he couldn't stay under leadership or something. Let me not say under leadership, because he wants to be in control. I begged him for almost a month to come back. I will always beg him. At a point, Pastor Livingstone called him and he refused to pick the call. Because when he told me that he's angry with Pastor Livingstone, because Pastor Livingstone is always bossy. I told him, I said, no, that is the voice. That is how Pastor Livingstone's voice sounds. Sometimes he sounds, because his voice sounds harsh. So when he's like that, you think he said, no, he cannot stay with somebody like that. He cannot deal with somebody. He knows the level he has attained in life. And he was just talking arrogantly. And I was just, of course, he's an elder. So I didn't tell him you're talking arrogantly. I just shut my mouth. At least I was surprised. So I called Pastor Livingstone and said, this man said that you are that. I'm talking about Imma Maduabun, this one here, that is in a car. And the one in the car there, and I called Pastor Livingstone. Not put call through to him. Maybe he's going to feel that why are these people calling me? He refused to pick it. Even another time when Pastor Livingstone called him, he just put it on and kept quiet. Pastor Livingstone was just talking and he was not responding. That was it. So that's how arrogant he is and all of that. I will tell him now on this broadcast that he's arrogant, Because when elders don't respect themselves, you have to tell them the truth. And that's how we are, Biafrans. We don't worship people. We stand on the truth. And that is what I want to tell each Biafran. If you are a Biafran, a true Biafran, you don't have Fulani blood in you. When you see the truth, identify it. Now, this is another of the meeting. This is another time of the meeting. You know, see him putting another cloth. They're smiling. We are smiling. Look at me down there. My face is open this time around. We are smiling. I was just lying down somewhere, and we were smiling, just discussing. And I think we were making some points. Also, I was saying something here, I think, and then we're all smiling. So you can see Prince there. You can see up there. You see Pastor Victor. Adim that came to by your left hand side, the first person up there with hands. You can see his hands. He's the one who came to tell me about the currency thing. You know, he's the chairman of the advisory board, and he told me about the currency thing and told me that they want me to do the design and told me about the faces. And I told him, no, it can't stand. You can't put faces of people in that. You see the faces of the people there. You see Prince there, of course. And so that is why when you see people talking, these are people who respect. In fact, if you see the way we talk to Simon, we give all of us here, we are older than him by far. He's not our mate. But we give him the respect as the one we see as the one doing the work of all Elohim on our behalf. We were not worshiping him. We were only respecting him for the position he occupied as the one we have called a spokesperson. But he went all around to destroy that because he allowed the devil, which Mazen Namdekan said should not come into him. He allowed the devil to come into him. And you see by my side, juxtaposition by my picture is, Imam Madwabun, the one who removed me from advisory board, who just removed me because I said their faces cannot be on the currency. You can see him there. And I was not removed before I said that. I said it. I was still in the advisory board when I said their faces will not be in the currency. That was when they removed me from the advisory board. So all those narrative that Gaddafi is selling, that I was removed because I was corrupt. I am saying this here now, and everybody can bear witness. I was removed. I have the screenshot. I can still bring you the date when I was removed, and I'll prove to you the day when we came on the issue of the currency thing, that when we discussed it, the day we had the meeting, and then the day I was removed from that advisory board. And then Ngozi, the same person that is a Nigeria agent that we're trying to save Simon from and tell him this person is corrupt, this person is from Nigeria, they are getting into you and destroying this whole thing. He told that person to remove me from the alliance, the Oduduwa Biafra Alliance and platform, where of course he himself said I am going to be the secretary so that I can actually put things, in the right perspective under the auspices of the secretariat. He's the same person who told the person I am the whistleblower here, giving the people information and telling the people that, giving him information and telling him, see, this person is a Nigeria agent. I have proofs, I have evidences. Then I had some evidences, which we now brought Gaddafi in and we showed him the evidences. He now went further to try to get some other information, whether she's a doctor or not, which Gaddafi now got from internet and told us that she's not a doctor, she's only a nurse and all of that. Those are the information that Gaddafi took. But all the evidences, I brought them and I presented it and all of that. And Simon is giving the person who is a Nigeria agent the power to remove me, who is bringing an information that will help him and help Biafra and save Biafra. Now, this is it. So now, this is it. Now, who says, now look at us here. We're still having a meeting. You see us here. You see Prince there, with his cap and all of that. We were having a meeting. So how come he doesn't know any of these people? How come he doesn't know any of these people who had meeting with him? That tells you that he's not sincere. That tells you that he's not truthful. Unless you don't want to tell yourself the truth. When somebody is not truthful, they are not truthful. If you want to tell yourself the truth, you'll tell yourself the truth. They are not truthful. And anybody who is not truthful, who cannot be trusted with saying the truth, cannot be in front leading truth program. Truth program is what Biafra stands for. Mazen Namdekan have said it several times. If you are not truthful, if the truth is not in you, if you can boldly come without, if you look at his face when he was saying that he doesn't know us, he was saying it without, as if he was drunk. He was saying it as if he doesn't care what happens. That tells you that this person is a liar. That tells you that this person can actually tell truth to millions of people all over the world without his conscience pricking him. And if you observe the actions he has taken since then, he is not remorseful for calling people he has dealt with and done programs with and discussed with and done lots of things with, done the business of Biafra with, telling everybody in the world that he doesn't know them and saying all that he said against them. If you can have that kind of mindset to say that kind of thing to millions of people, say it on air, and to get people to instigate people against them. Now, of course, I saw a recent video, whether 2 days ago, where they brought my face, brought Pastor Livingstone's face, Prince's face, and some other, I think Ken also, Nachuku, and some, Madam Ife's face and they did one video and they say we are 419. Now that is the product of Simon. Now you can imagine. Now Simon has not come to tell you people whatever we stole, how corrupt we are, and how we became 419. He has not given you any evidence. All the while he does his broadcast and analysis, he brings evidence. He brought evidence against Ejiofor. He brought evidence against the DOS. He brought evidences to prove his case. Now it comes to the people who are telling him the truth. He doesn't have evidence, but he is promoting, sponsoring for them to be called 419. If we take this up against him now, it will land him in trouble. But we're just looking at him because he's not a lawyer, so he doesn't understand the implication. It was his wife, or it's his wife, or I don't know, that's their business, whether they are still married or not. That's not my business. So I'm not here for anybody's private life. But of course, if he's a lawyer, if he was a lawyer, he's not. He would have understood the implication of calling people. He will know what libel is and slander and blackmail is. Bringing people's video out there and putting people's face and then putting them out and calling their villages, calling where they are from, giving their pictures, putting it on all social media, and for people to target them and kill them. That is the impression. And if we take this case against him, people are going to say, we are coming against him. But if we take it against him now, it will be like we are wicked or we are trying to witch hunt him. But we're just looking at him. We keep watching. We keep observing. Let them keep bringing those videos. Let them keep calling us 419. Let them keep doing what they're doing. The time will come when we're going to go on those cases. So let him keep doing that. You see that we have not said anything about those stuff for now, but I'm trying to make you understand something because the issue here is not about Simon. It's not about any of them. It's about the truth. And for us to make you understand that you must read signs and times. You must understand situations by times and signs and signals. You cannot read people's heart. You cannot tell what is in the heart of any man, but you can tell by what they do. And for this now, why I'm bringing this evidence of what he said, that he doesn't know us. This is an evidence that he knows us. He has had discussions with us. We have done programs together. Now that tells you that from that alone, it's an evidence. So it is not by what he has in heart. Even if in his heart, he's saying he doesn't know us. For the fact that he said it proves to us that he actually meant it. Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if he gives you a tip of lies on screen, that means what is in his heart is full of lies. If he could give you a tip of lies and he's not remorseful till today, he has not come to say, I'm sorry to the elders, people who are old to be his father and his mother. He has not come to say sorry to them because he thinks he's a spokesperson and he's so big. He's so, he's so full of himself. He cannot say, I'm sorry and say Biafrans. He's calling out Ohanese others to come together. But the people who are telling him the truth, he cannot say, let's come together. That tells you he's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite. Now, if he cannot, all these weeks, he has not seen it, has not had a remorse, a repentant heart about the people he condemned that he said he doesn't know and castigated them because they brought evidences and told him about things that were going wrong, then that means that in his heart, something is wrong. Something is fundamentally wrong. Unless you want to tell me the word of God is a lie. God says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if I tell you a lie now, it simply means that there is something about my heart that has so much lies about it. So I'm going to play another video here where he says something. Now I want you to note the things he said so that you will know if these things were actually carried out, because the target was that there will be no election. It was not we will boycott election. The target was no election. What does no election mean? I want to talk to people. I want us to reason, because we can't be fooling ourselves. We are too old to be fooled. We have suffered enough in the hands of Nigeria. We have suffered enough in the hands of the zoo. And we have suffered enough in the hands of Britain to tell ourselves lies. When somebody tells you something and gives you hope of something, and they now begin to play games, hanky-panky, dilly-dallying, and all of that along the line, shilly-shally, all those details along the line of what they actually said, and now begin to paint it along the line to mean something else later. You should know that they are deceivers. You should know that they are telling lies. Now I'm going to play this video. Listen to it carefully.
If you are coming in Biafra territory in the old Eastern region for election observer, you are not going to observe election. You are going to observe war between Biafra and Nigeria. You are going to observe a resistance force between Biafra and Nigeria. And this is official.
Now, he said, if you are coming, he was talking to the international community. If you are coming to observe election in Biafra land, just know that you are coming to observe war. That means we are going to make sure there will be no election. Our men are going to stand and defend it. Our men will make sure nobody comes out, and we're going to fight the Nigerian forces. You are going to come to observe war. That is the words of a man who is supposed to be sincere and straightforward. Now, he said these things clearly, and he said it is made by that video. He said it is made official today. He said it is official, which means that originally there should be a program and a plan on ground which should project the fact that there will be no election. Now, listen to it again. I'll play it again. Listen to it again in case you didn't get it right there. And the last word he said is made official. Listen.
If you are coming in Biafra territory in the old Eastern region for election observer, you are not going to observe election, you are going to observe war between Biafra and Nigeria. You are going to observe a resistance force between Biafra and Nigeria. And this is official.
And this is official. Now, I want to talk to you because I'm trying to make this thing so simple for those who need to process information on their mind for a while to be able to understand some things. What does it mean when you tell somebody that you are coming to visit me? When you come to visit me, you are not going to meet me, but you're going to meet my wife. So take what you want to take. My wife will give you what, because I've traveled. So you'll meet my wife. And right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm telling you that right now, as I'm talking to you now, I'm in Johannesburg. So I've traveled. So the money that I'm supposed to pay you, I'm not paying you the full because I've traveled. I actually spent so much money to travel. So the only thing is that I have some little money. I'm going to pay you maybe 10% of that money. My wife will give you that. But I've traveled. So when I come back from my trip, I'll try to raise money to give you. Because I want to make sure that you don't ask for the full money, I now make you feel that I've traveled. I now tell you to come to my house by 4 p.m. My wife will be available to give you the money. And then you come to my house by 3 p.m. And I didn't expect you by 3 p.m. because my mind is that by 3:30 or to 4, I'll rush in to go and hide so that you will not see me and you will see my wife. And then my wife will give you that 10% so that you will not say that I actually didn't travel. And then I was outside. I just went to fetch water, and as I was carrying the bucket of water inside the house, for instance, let's say I have a tap out there, I need to fetch water, or I have something out there, or I just went to take something out there, and as I'm entering, you are just coming and you see me there. And I've already told you that I'm in South Africa. What impression would you have about me from that day? What does it mean to tell people that you are coming to observe election? You are not going to observe election, you are going to observe war. That means, what it means is that the military or the Biafra Liberation Force, which he calls them, would stand against every action of the Nigeria contraption, all the tanks, all the things that have been moved into Biafra land. That is the day the fighting will begin. That's what it means. But here now, we all saw it clearly. For God's sake, I want to talk to Biafrans. Is it that we are too evil to ourselves, or we are too full of lies, or we have been corrupted by the Nigeria system, that even when people say lies, because of how emotionally attached to people that the British have crowned, based on the fact that the British have made us believe that we should begin to worship people like warrant chiefs, like Azes, like chiefs, worship money, somebody goes and does money ritual. So when it comes, you sing about him and then you worship him. Because of this kind of bad, evil spirit that is not part of us, that Britain has put in us, because of that, when people who come to claim to want to help you get your freedom begin to go wrong, you just feel that you just have to, no, nothing must go wrong. Let's just behave as if we are not seeing it. You begin to now close your eyes to it. Is it how it works? Is it that we have become too reprobate in our hearts, that we now begin to tell ourselves the lies, and that we see lies, we clearly don't want to say it? What does this video mean to you, for God's sake, if you are truthful, if you are standing on the path of truth, if you believe in truth, if you believe in transparency, if you believe in what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, being persistent, being consistent? Are you saying because it is about Simon, it has to be overlooked and pretended that it's not a lie? Are you saying that if it is me, then you have to castigate me, but as long as it is Simon, don't castigate him? He's Mma Ejibuago, he's and all of that, Ejibuago and all of that. And if he's is it that you are too much in worshiping people that you don't understand when you are being lied to, and you are being told lies, and you don't understand what to do when people tell you lies, and you don't understand how to read in between the lines when somebody who is supposed to be standing on the path of truth to making you and giving you your freedom tells you lies, and you cannot stand on the precept of to weigh it by what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents and say, no, you have just lied. This calls you to question. Now, I want to give you an example. I told you about Tony Blair. sorry, not Tony Blair, sorry, Boris Johnson. When Boris Johnson went for a party in his his office area or whatever it's called during the COVID, he was brought to in fact, as at last week, they still questioned him. Is it last week or this week? They still questioned Boris Johnson about that same 2019 COVID party. They were still they have removed him from power because of all this. They said he employed somebody into his cabinet, who actually had a questionable stuff or something, who lied about something also. He knew about it and he still employed the person into the cabinet or brought the person into the cabinet. These are the 2 points they used against him. And they said he has done enough. And they questioned him. Even those who are his friends in that party he belongs, those who are his friends still questioned him. It is not about who, because the nation must move forward. If the principles of the nation is broken because of compromising to adore somebody, you would end up destroying that nation. That is why they took Boris Johnson away, because Britain is more important than Boris Johnson. The sanity of Britain is more important than Boris Johnson. The dignity of Britain, according to them, if they have any, because we know they don't have. According to them, the dignity of Britain is more important than Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson is just one man, but Britain is everybody. So if everybody stands and everybody is lied to, then that one man must be taken away, must be taken off the scene, because he's a bad representation to everybody. Now, all these things we are showing you here now, all these videos, are things that are in the coffers of the zoo. They will say, look at the person who is leading 70 million people. Look at how he's lying. Now, what did he do during the election? And you here that is supposed to stand and say, no. What happened? And question him, man, you told us that we're going to, if what they're going to come observe is war, and that this is going to happen, that is going to happen. What happened? For God's sake, no, please explain to us. But now he's dancing another music, dancing, and nobody wants to say the truth. Now, is this not enough? Now, let me play another video. Listen.
All the people that have connived to sell Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to destroy the Biafra movement for P2B, we are going to give them water.
All those people who have sold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for Peter Obi, that means referring to election. Referring to election, that means what he's talking about here is election, because Peter Obi here represents the betrayer of Biafra's freedom. And of course, dragging us into Nigeria's election. Now he said we are going to give them water. What is our code in the water stuff we always say? We were saying the water means that we are going to deal with them. That means we are going to make sure that nothing happens. And just like he said in the other video, we're going to make sure that our men engage the military. We're going to stop any form of election. It is no election. It is not a partial election or a boycott of election. It is no election. That is what it is. But you heard that. You heard that, right? Now I'm going to give you another video when there was an attack on the 7th of November or so at is it OD or somewhere? I can't remember now. When he said that from today they are going to engage the military and they're going to do this and do that, and yet none of that was done. Now listen to this video.
Fellow Biafrans all over the world, this is the 8th day of November 2022, and we have just witnessed one of the worst aggression against our people and against our territory by the Nigeria terrorist government. They went to Izombe on the 7th of November 2022 to burn down market, burn down villages. There is no government in the world that can wage war against so-called its citizens. So this evening, there's going to be a State of the Nation address where we're going to lay down one after the other, step by step, how we are going to revenge the aggression of the Nigeria terrorist government against Biafra people, starting from the economic sabotage. In this month of November, we are going to make sure that Nigeria government will not again take any oil from the Biafra land. Our target will be to make sure that we sabotage the economy where they get the money to buy the weapons they use to fight and kill our people. Where they get the money to buy the military hardware they use to come to our land to burn innocent people and kill vulnerable women. What happened in Izombe yesterday will be revenged, and we are going to start on time from this month of November. The target of Biafrans will be every oil pipeline and installation. The oil is coming from our land. We will make sure that before the end of this year, we will bring Nigeria to its nail. The time.
Honestly, I don't know if people are thinking like me, you know, because sometimes it will be as if it's a witch hunt. But here is a clear evidence of, in fact, the seat at home might even not be important anymore if what he said here was carried out. We would have stopped the seat at home and faced the oil. He said from that November, they will start dealing, they will make sure that no oil exploration, nothing is taken from Biafra land. They will make sure, he said, he was talking in clear terms, that the oil will be stopped, we will sabotage the economy, we will make sure that what happened at Izombe is revenged. Is revenged. Is what does it mean to revenge? That means you are going to, the way they brought it to you, you are going to give it even more to them. But since then, since that November, 7th of November, when he said this, on the 8th of November, also 8th of November, when he said this, oil is being still taken by the people, by the Nigerian government, by Britain. Our people have still been killed over and over. In fact, helicopters have come to bombard our cities. At a point, he said that let them bring the helicopters now, they will see. In fact, when they bring, we're going to shoot down the helicopters. The next day, they still brought the helicopters. No helicopter was shot down. Our people were still killed. Is it not enough for you to understand that there's something going wrong? Now, the truth about it is that we're all guilty here, because when we began to see that these things were not manifesting, we were emotionally carried away by the fact that some of us said, okay, let's see, maybe he has a plan towards that February 25th election. So let's see whether he's building up to that time. Maybe that's when, just like he said in the other video, that they're going to bring war, those who are coming to observe elections, to observe war. You know, let's see whether it's at that time. Now, the credibility of this person you call your spokesperson has been put to question based on the fact that he said from November, aside the issue of November, he has been talking about revenging and avenging and all of that from time. But this time around, because of that zombie attack, he said that oil, that was when I was so excited, because the only way you can bring Nigeria to its knees is to stop that oil exploration. That is the main source of the revenue of Nigeria, taking the oil of the land. Now, he didn't have the capacity to do it. He knew he didn't have the capacity to do it. He still came boldly in the grief, in the pain, when people were still mourning the death in Izombe, when people were still crying and mourning those who have been dead. He came to lie to the people and say that that month they're going to stop oil exploration, stop Nigeria from exploring oil, taking oil from the land. When people were still grieving for the pain, for the attack, for the death, for everything going on with the people who have died, Biafrans dead, he came, made his face hard, spoke extensively, spoke critically, spoke very precisely, and said oil exploration will stop in Biafra land by the Nigerian government. He mocked the dead. He mocked those who were killed at Izombe. He mocked them by telling us lies. He mocked them. I don't know how else you want to call this. I don't know how else you see this. I don't know if this is not enough evidence for you to question. Are you going to go into business with somebody whom you are supposed to invest, into a business, and you're supposed to have, you want to go into joint venture into a business now, and all of that, and then you now contribute 50,000. The person contributes 50,000. You now put the money in. You now say, okay, your account cannot, maybe because you don't want your account to be used, you should put it in the person's account, or you say the person should hold the money, and you have 2 weeks to bring the money, and then after 2 weeks, when you come back, the person have spent 10,000 from the whole money. Now you have 90,000 instead of 100,000, and the person tells you, I'm sorry, something just happened. I used the money. money, and the person didn't tell you all this while, tell you that he has a need if he could take money from there and all of that, didn't say anything to you. Suddenly, the day he's supposed to bring the money, he told you, I'm sorry, he doesn't know, or maybe he tells you, I'm sorry, he kept it somewhere, he doesn't know how 10,000 got missing. Are you going to go into business with that person again? I'm asking you a critical question. Reason, I'm making this analysis and this broadcast very simple. Because some people say I speak too much of English, just like Victoria. Victoria said I'm giving sermon that I should tell her what we're going to do, and I've given her. I told her if she has anything to offer, she should come too. We're going to welcome her. Now, are you going to go into business with such kind of person when that person have proven to you that they cannot be sincere? Is it not what you see about people, the impression they give to you, that will determine how you're going to run with them and continue to do something with them? I don't understand again. Is it that our people are under spell? Fulani meat, just like Mazin Namdekanu will say, Fulani meat the voodoo has put spell on us, so that the Ngozi Orabueze's and spell that is on him and other people is also running on all of you, because she's working with the zoo. She sponsored Fulanis for the election, this current election, and still she's on the advisory board. Now, it is that advisory board that is the government, Biafra government in exile. The Biafra government in exile that have been talked about all this while, you are not seeing it. You have not seen until election came and went. Nobody came to tell you that he is the one. They are the Biafra government in exile. He told you that they are going to come make a public speech. Till today, you have not seen anything about it. You have not seen anything about it until today. And yet, you are still jubilating and jumping that something is on ground. You heard him say here in that video, November would be the beginning of crumbling the zoo. No oil exploration by the zoo in Biafra land, from Biafra land. Until today, Nigeria is getting more revenue from Biafra land after Izombe people have been killed. And given that promise on the dead bodies of the Izombe people, on the attack on the Izombe community, he gave that promise, making his face hard, making it look like it's real. He gave you an assurance. If somebody can come in that kind of grieving situation where we are mourning of the death of our brothers, gives you such kind of promise, and then renege on it, what does that tell you? Because sometimes, Mazin Namdekanu have taught us how to reason widely. Some of you don't know what it means when Mazin Namdekanu was preaching. He was actually making you understand that Biafra is not about him, it's not about anybody, but about you. If you don't reason well, you'll still keep yourself in bondage and you'll keep yourself in the place where you're not going to be free. You need to reason well to free yourself, because that is what the truth does. It makes you reason well, and then it makes you free, because it is a process. It's not setting you free. It makes you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth that you know will make you free. It is a procedure. It's a process. That's why the word set you free is not right. The original word from the Hebrew, from the Greek word is make you free. That's what it means. The original Greek word that is there is you shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free, or shall make you free. So now, if somebody have given you this kind of double standards, are you telling me that as intelligent as you think you are, that's for those who are talking anyhow, as intelligent as you are, as expectant as you are of your freedom, you can still stand and let somebody like that begin to design or lead you or to determine how you move to your freedom? Doesn't it put to question the things this person have said over time to you? Doesn't this put you... Now, let me ask you a question. I came to expose what would have destroyed Biafra, the issue of currency, putting the faces of Simon, Azuka, Ngozi, Oge on the currency, and even my face. Pastor Dim was telling me that even me too, my face can be on it. If you have seen my face on currency and seen these faces of all these people, you see their faces on the currency, and people begin to revolt. Won't you blame me for that? Won't you say, so I had this information and I kept it to myself, and I brought it out and I exposed this thing to you that this happened, and they now went all far to remove my names from the boards, from the committees that I was working. I don't need them because I'm not here for position. They removed my name. Doesn't that tell you that something is wrong somewhere? That somebody who saved our nation from this disgrace of putting the faces of people who are not qualified to have their face on the economy face of the nation, that this person was now attacked? Doesn't it tell you that you supporting that impunity means that you are evil? Doesn't that tell you that something is wrong with you critically and that you are not ready for your freedom? Because Mazin Nnamdi said the freedom will be on truth. Doesn't it tell you why we are being delayed? Doesn't it tell you why we couldn't even help get our men to be on ground to actually stop the election? Because lies would always beget lies. That was why our men on ground were not funded for that program. And I'm going to show you proof of what the game of chess or the gambling that Simon played on us in that regard. I'm going to show you the proof. From his own tweet, I'll show you the proof. Just join me, just follow me. After this now, I'm going to go there because time is running fast.
We are responding to INEC that the reason for your proposed cancellation or postponement of the election is not because of insecurity. It is because of the liberation movement of Biafra. It is because of different indigenous people in Nigeria fighting the evil establishment to get their freedom. So we want to respond to INEC that it has nothing to do with insecurity. Rather, it is the liberation, because the Biafra people have activated the revolutionary movement for Biafra exit in 2023. And we are going to fight you to make sure that we don't validate you anymore. We do not validate you because you pose threat to global peace. We will never validate Nigeria because Nigeria is only country that has about 11 terrorist group, deadly terrorist group. We will never validate you. I will never vote anyone to represent Biafra within the Nigeria setup. Today, those people that have been voted for many years are the ones that are being used against the indigenous people of Biafra. So we will respond directly to INEC this evening, and this is an official statement coming from the indigenous people of Biafra. As a spokesman of the Biafra people, we are making it categorically clear that the threat to postpone the election in Nigeria or cancel it has nothing to do with security. That it is because of our resoluteness to leave Nigeria. It is because of our resolve to make sure that Nigeria do not conduct election in Biafra territory. It is because of we have decided that we will never validate Nigeria come next month, February 2023. And because of this, the Nigerian government are postponing the election in order to commit genocide, thinking that they're going to kill everybody in Biafra land and conduct election. We are waiting for them. We are waiting for them on our airspace. We are waiting for them on our land. We are waiting for them through the sea. But one thing the Biafra people promise the terrorists in Nigeria today is that
we are waiting for them on our land. That's during the election. We're waiting for them on our land. We're waiting for them in our airspace. We're waiting for them on the sea. Now, the question is, who are those who are going to wait for them on the land? The ESN, the men on ground. Who are those complaining about not having supplies and have been killed today and their camps being attacked, invaded? Which people like Ngozi or Rebose will be the eye to Nigeria government to know where the camps are and the attack and all of that. Who are those? It is still the ESN that has been attacked. The people who are supposed to be on ground, who are going to stop them, who are going to wait for them on ground. Who are those who are being hungry, who are even asking for Gary? Please, if you can even give us Gary to just drink. The same ESN. Who are those who are going to wait for them on ground? The same ESN that is begging, asking, please, even if it's Gary, give us less drink and let's look for Ake and use to drink the Gary. Is the same people that are going to meet them on ground? Is the people you refuse to fund? Is the same people you refuse to feed? Is the same people you refuse to give tools? Meetings with, and you tell them that you tell Biafra people that they are corrupt. You don't know them. They are corrupt people. They are criminals. You don't know them, and that they are actually not part of the ESN. And it's the same people you held meeting with, you're holding meeting with, telling them that they should bring the tool they are holding, or else they should await what is coming for them. It is the same people you are threatening. It's the same people you gave money to get tools and all of that at one time or the other, which of course that was just a particular place, and that same tool is the one they will be exchanging from one cap to the other. And it is the same people. That means if they want to wait for Biafra and Nigeria military coming with all their gadgets and all their ammunition, if they want to wait for Nigeria military coming, they are going to be sharing tools. That means if this one use the RPG in this place now, when they use it in their corner here, they will now have to look for how they're going to send it to the other camp or wherever they are, the other units where they are, trying to wait for the Nigeria forces on the ground to go and give them there to also use there and all of that. Now, this is the strategy. And this look at someone here saying that they are going to wait for them on land, they're going to wait for them in the air. When they came to kill our people, when he boasted that if they come with their helicopters again, they will see what will happen. And they came. He never stopped them. Now, is it in the election time now that he's going to stop them in the air? He said on the sea. Where is how are you going to stop them on the sea? Do you have they have their own at least whatever you call it? You say if somebody was displaying a video, say look at the warship that Nigeria has, and was laughing. Do you have any? You don't have any. So how are you going to wait for them on the sea? Who is going to be there on the sea? Is it Mami Water? Or is it Papi Water? Or who? Or you're going to invoke Godzilla out of the sea? Or how do you, for God's sake, is it that we are so stupid that we now support everything that comes? Oh, no, leave it, let's just go on. No, I am not that stupid. I'm too old to be stupid, for God's sake. I'm too old to be all this kind of nonsense. I came for freedom. That's what I came for. I don't know what you came for. I don't know whether you came to glorify any man, but I'll tell you the truth. Once somebody is not standing there, but Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, if it is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that deviates from what he's saying, I'm going to go by his orders. I'm going to tell him also what he did wrong. I'm going to speak it. I'm going to open it like this on so that Biafrans will see. So that if he has a good heart, he will repent. But if he has a reprobate mind, he will keep plunging into the depth of the KG dingy dungeon. The same thing Simon is doing today, plunging himself into the KG dingy dungeon. You saw him now coming to tell you that they gave him a peace award, whereas that organization does not exist. Go and check it on the internet. That organization does not exist. The organization he said gave him peace award. We only have peace something foundation. I'm going to show you later. I'm going to talk about it later. Now, this is it. Now, these are proofs. So, who are those who are going to wait for this men on ground? That is why you saw that Nigeria military came with all their arms, ammunition, air, and everything, even if some people were afraid to come out because they didn't know what was going to happen. Votes still went on. Our men could not stop the vote from going on. Those few places where people sat at home didn't stop the vote. They only happened because the people chose to, not because we enforced. Because in this kind of thing, what it is freedom fighting, you enforce every action. That is what it is. Freedom fight, that's why it is called freedom fight. It is called a fight. Freedom fighting is freedom fight. It is not family meeting. Even family meeting, you will not condone, you will not even condone anybody not giving you account. In family meeting, not to talk about a nation fighting for freedom and somebody putting money in somebody's account. A whole nation is contributing money and putting in one man's account, one woman whose husband is just there. She puts the money in. Everybody this nation, are they normal? Where does it happen in this world that a whole nation contributes money? I want to talk to people who have sense, because I know that we still have foolish people. A whole nation contributes money. Where have you seen it in this world? Even in the Bible days. Even in the Bible days. Even in the Bible days, even in the group where Jesus had the 12 disciples, Judas was holding the account, but Judas was monitored. You don't know Judas was monitored? If he could steal from the account, he would not have gone to take the money from the enemies, because he couldn't steal from the account. So he was desperate to get more, but at least he could give account at that point. That's why they gave him the account, because they knew he could hold money. They gave him the money because he could hold it. And that was just a group. And he must give account. Now, a nation of people who say they are intelligent, who say they are Jews. Oh, they are the children of Abraham. Oh, Eri, our father is Eri from the tribe of God. And we are brilliant. We are one of the brilliant tribes in the world. We are very intelligent, blah, blah. A whole nation is having their account in a woman's husband's coffers. And everybody says it is okay. Not everybody, those who, I don't know what happened to their mind, their soul, their spirit. I don't know how voodoo took over them. They are saying nothing about, see it, say nothing about it, don't talk about it, don't do anything about it. Just, it is good. Please, are you contributing? They begin to ask you, are you contributing to? Oh, you don't know that what I'm doing now is also contribution? Do you know how much I spend every month for data to talk to you? Do you pay me? You're asking me in a nation, you're asking me how much I contribute for me to ask for accounts? Are you that dumb and daft? The other day, somebody was saying here, is it Florence also was saying something that I was just wondering. Is it that our people are so daft? Is it that, Lord have mercy, a whole nation have their money in one man's account, a woman, and it is that woman that is in charge of what she gives out, who she decides to give out, those who are loyal to her, she gives out. She used the money for cryptocurrency, she used the money for her private businesses. She suddenly the money got into her account. Suddenly, within 1 month, when they started putting money into her account, they started building a house in the village. I have I have the video of the small house and how they built the big house. I have the video. Suddenly, in 3 months, they completed the house. They were getting chieftaincy title last year, December. They were gunning for it. Suddenly, now they came and said, the house has been... Now, let me ask you a question. Those of you who are very daft. Azuka came and told you that her house was, attacked by the Nigerian military. And all of you were just jubilating. When I saw the video, I just shook my head. I said, Lord have mercy. God help us. She said, armor tank. They brought armor tank to the compound. Now look at that house. Not gone. Armor tank shot. They said armor tank shot on the roof. Look at that roof. The roof is still intact. Do you know what armor tank is? For armor tank to shoot on a house, just a house, not even a military base, a house, that house would be badly. In fact, all the glasses in that house will be gone. In fact, the roof will be off. Everything will be damaged. The house will crumble at a part. Partly, you will see it crumble. This house, she said, armor tank came to shoot, is still intact. Looking okay, just smoke in that place where they have the security house. Just smoke somewhere they have burnt something and make it smoky so that give you a blurred picture and image too. That is another way to take money from the ESM money to say that they are going to fix a house. They said armor tank shot at a house. People who are coming with armor tank, you should know they are serious military people. They're not. If military comes with armor tank, you know what they're coming to do. You know that. As Fela sang, zombie. When they are coming to kill, they are coming to kill. They are not. It's not child's play. If they came with armor tank to blow that house, they would have crumbled that house. They will crush it. That is the template. If you know there is a idiosyncratic operation of the Nigerian military, you know that's how they operate. When they came to Fela's house, Kalakuta, in the 80s, they shot. They threw the bomb from the window. They destroyed the place. They went there with tank. They destroyed the place. They didn't. When military comes in, don't you see how they come into our territory? When they come with their tank, don't you see how they destroy the villages? You mean they went to only one building with armor tank, and that building is still standing, everything, glass, everything is still intact, the door is still intact, not bullet, armor tank shot at a house. For God's sake, are we daft? Are we that daft? And now the funny thing is now, the laughable thing now about that also, that they used to sell their narrative to tell themselves, to now show that they are liars. She now said that the people who came with armor tank stole 11 generators in the first place. Just one house has 11 generators. Ask her where she got the money. She's holding ESM money of a nation for the military of that nation. ESM. Let's call them the military. She has 11 generators in a house, one house. The military, serious-minded people, these are not thieves, so these are not just roadside thieves. These are military men coming for serious business. They came to steal 11 generators. Does it make sense to you? These are not petty thieves. If it's petty thieves, you say, okay, robbers came into the house, that's a different thing. People with armor tank came and carried generator 1, 2, 3, 11 into the armor tank and drove away. Let me go further. Because lots of things are going to be exposed. Because I may not finish this today, but now Simon said that an organization called Peace, Universal Peace Freedom, gave him an what they call him, a peace award, universal peace freedom. My brothers and sisters, we all have phones. Go to your internet, type out peace freedom, whether you will see anything like universal peace freedom. You can only find Universal Peace Federation. This is different from Universal Peace Freedom name he gave you. There is nothing like Universal Peace Freedom. He posted this yesterday, 25th of March, that Universal Peace Freedom gave him. Now, who will be giving you award for peace when you have not even achieved the freedom that you are seeking, that you are asking for? Why is he so interested in boosting his own personality? Go to, since the end of the election, go to his platform and watch what he has been posting. Childish, everything. I sat this and begin to post childish things. Is this the kind of person that we would all give up? God is saying that he is the one in charge of Biafra, but we are honoring, and we are not even honoring. We are worshiping and glorifying a human being. And when someone comes to tell you the truth, you fight it. Universal Peace Freedom. Which organization is Universal Peace Freedom, for God's sake? Are they not on the internet? If it is a reputable organization, it should be on the internet. But it is not on the internet. It is not on the internet. I'm seeing the insults and everything. Now, do you know that recently, Simon went to Oduduwa stakeholders meeting where they had recently with Sunday Igboho and all of that, went to broadcast. Do you know in that particular stuff, he was apologizing to the media team for not informing them? Does that don't tell you something is wrong? This guy takes unilateral decision. A nation of 70 million people, somebody will just sit down and just take a decision and come on